Hello, everyone. Good to see you here. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your love and your support of this channel. I deeply appreciate it. We are slowly evolving as a channel, and we are now at about 88,000 subscribers. So, thank you so much for everything. A couple of days ago, I had a dream and I want to share it with you. And then we're going to do some card readings as well. In the dream, I was asked by my boss. I didn't know who my boss was, but in the dream, I had a boss. And my boss told me that I needed to get to Iran, that I needed to get on a plane and get to Iran because the Shah's son was on his way to a dinner, a gala event in Iran. He had been invited to the event, and it was very important that I be there. And when I got there, it was a huge estate. It was a huge castle or a compound that hundreds of people were staying at. Students, reporters, all kinds of people. And people were worried that the Shah's son was going to be assassinated or that something terrible was going to happen. And I got to witness this. I was one of the crowd of people that watched as the Shah's son went into this huge gala, this huge festival, or this huge event in his honor. And he bravely chose to go to Iran. And as the doors opened, nobody knew what was going to happen. The doors opened, these huge opulent doors. And when the prince walked in, when the Shah's son walked in, there was a huge applause and a feeling that he had been welcomed home. And that he was home and he was going to be a part of the new government of Iran. And what I took from that was that the time of the Ayatollah Khamenei was coming to an end. And it was not going to end with a massive war. It was simply going to happen because after Khamenei leaves, he leaves and the country moves towards moderation, and the Shah's son is brought back as a way of heralding a new time in Iran, one of moderation and sanity, that the country returns to a kind of sanity. And as I was watching this, and of course, always in these dreams, I'm always like peeking, looking around the castle, always, every time I have a dream that I'm in Buckingham Palace, I always have to open every drawer. Once a remote viewer, always a remote viewer. But I found myself going to all of the area and looking around. But at one point, I looked behind me and I saw Saudi Arabia. And Saudi Arabia had made peace with the new Iranian government, and there was this new treaty. And it was the birth of what would become the Abraham Accords. And that the day will come when Iran will be a part of that. And it will hail peace in the Middle East. And that the oasis that is being built by Saudi Arabia will also, similar oasis will be built all over the Middle East. And a new trade system a new caravan system of subways and trains and loop-de-loops from Elon Musk all would come together to hail this new trade and transportation system that brought the nations of the Middle East together. And so what I took away from that is that sometimes it's darkest before the dawn. That's my order. Sometimes it's darkest before the dawn, and right now we're in a very dark place. There's suffering all over the world. There's suffering in Gaza. There's suffering in Ukraine. There's suffering in Iran and Yemen. And something very special is coming to the world. And this too shall pass. Even though the times are difficult now, this too shall pass. All tyrants fall away. They have their moment in the sun, but it never lasts because it's against the natural order. The people rise up, and there comes a point when the emperor has no clothes, and you simply cannot fool people forever. And I think that's also what we're seeing here in the United States with Donald Trump and his attempts to cover up his close relationship with Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell. So I want to do the empath's prayer, and there were several questions people had, and unfortunately I was not able to get to all of them. Chuck and I do our best, my co-host Chuck, but sometimes it gets to be a little overwhelming. I'm going to go ahead and do the empath's prayer, and I have very specific questions that people ask, so I'm going to try and get to all of them. Let's go ahead, and we will do the empath's prayer. Okay, let's do it. Okay, I want to call on white light protection for myself and this community as we ask permission from Spirit to access the Akashic Records. We call on our spirit guides and our good angels to be with us. Please give us the clarity and the wisdom that is needed to empower all of us on our journey to make the best decisions for ourselves, our families, the planet, the people we love, but also to help those that we may have strife with. And together collectively as a community, we say, Amen. Now, a lot of people are wondering if Trump can continue to cover up the Epstein conflict and whether or not more stuff is going to be leaked. There are people in positions of power that have paid top dollar to get pictures, films, recordings on the black market that expose Trump's relationship with Epstein and all of his corruption. And those people have been sitting on it. They've been sitting on the catch and kill stories from Pecker and National Enquirer. Those were sold. Photographs that Epstein had that he handed to third parties. Governments that got copies. The FBI got copies. The CIA had copies. Murdoch has copies. And so as long as Trump is doing what they want, they will keep him around. Why put up with Trump's crazy? Because Trump is giving them what they want, because they have the old gentleman's agreement. I got dirt on you, you got dirt on me. This is what Roger Stone did, right? He had orgies, he filmed them. Now you've seen me, I've seen you, we got the tapes. Now we can do business. I will always have it in my back pocket, and that's why somebody like Roger Stone is able to get a pardon, right? It's his insurance policy. When you're dealing with people at that level, you always want to frame them. You always want to get dirt on them because that's your insurance policy. I want to see what the consequences are going to be of his relationship with Ghislaine Maxwell. How will this play itself out? Because I don't think I've really looked at that. How will the saga of Trump and Ghislaine Maxwell play itself out? And I just want to read the cards and see what they say. We know that Trump has a lot of health challenges, and that has certainly come up. All right, the first thing I see is that a wish has been granted. Perhaps the wish of the people is an exposure, but we see great stress here. The Nine of Swords, this is another drama. This is another drama. This is another problem that Trump must deal with, amongst the many problems that Trump has. He's constantly having to cover up his corruption, whether it's dealing with Russian banks that basically loaned a bunch of money to people who couldn't get loans in the United States, to his unwholesome relationship with Ghislaine Maxwell and Epstein. But we have this wish granted and this stress, and I want to know what this is about. This is the base of the matter. If the wish is that he be taken out by Epstein, it's very likely it's going to happen. The King of Cups, the Six of Pentacles. This could be an indication that at this time, this is the king of emotion, this is an emotional king, and the Six of Pentacles could be a desire for justice, to weed out, to put out justice, to balance the scales. If he resigns, would J.D. Vance pardon him? That's the ultimate question. What he sits in is lovers, an issue of lovers and an Ace of Wands with a Six of Wands. This is a situation that he has to get out of. This is a situation that he has to get out of. The thing that's been coming up a lot with Trump is that he's slowly kind of losing his mind, in the sense that Seven of Cups is really to be in the clouds, highly emotional, fighting. You know, I read Ace of Wands as the next 30 days, something about an emotional situation that will be resolved over the next 30 days. And then a Six of Wands comes in, which is success. Yes, I think he's going to attempt to pardon her. And the idea here is that he pardons her and probably wants her to leave the country. The condition of this pardon is that he remove her. The first thing I get is that more than likely he put her in a nice place to keep her mouth shut. Oh, you got something in your back pocket. Maybe we can't get you out right away. Maybe we can't give you a pardon right away. But at the very least, we can give you a cushy place to be in prison where you can do yoga and have a healthy vegan diet, you know, and have your nails done and all the other wonderful things that come with Club Fed. Because you have this energy coming in of like the Ace of Cups. You have this Ace of Wands, which is a 30-day plow forward and victory. But unfortunately, it's also the beginning of a potential war, in the sense that his opposition is Archangel Uriel, or the Page of Wands, who's the pioneer, it's the fighter, it's the time of spring. And I would say it's war, because Five of Swords is when you are battling with somebody and they are attempting to take the weapons of war away. The other thing that does not bode well for Trump is that the sun is coming out, and the sun is an exposure. I think that with these cards, it is very likely that he will be betrayed by somebody close to him. He will not be able to keep it a secret. I think that the basic reason for this is because he's not considered stable enough for the people that put him in power. Ten of Swords is to be betrayed by your own. And again, I just feel that he goes to war with or makes angry people that once put him in office or once gave him power. People like Rupert Murdoch. His opposition is the Six of Cups, and that could be an exchange of gifts. And again, this does not bode well for Trump, because if we're talking about contraband, if we're talking about people that are handing out information, then, and the fact that he will be emerging with a Ten of Swords, the fact that more than likely his enemies get their wish. The fact that Page of Wands moves in, which is the energy of fire and war, particularly with the Five of Swords, which is to take the weapons of war away from your enemies, this guy's in trouble. But the thing that blows my mind the most about Donald Trump's cards is this Seven of Cups that just stares at me, and that is the thing that I'm pointing at and I'm getting some real focus on, and that is senility. This is the person that doesn't know up from down. They're in the clouds. You know, when this card was developed during the Edwardian era, the Victorian era, it was the highest rates of opium addiction, heroin addiction in the history of Britain. You know, everybody was on lanolin, and everybody was floating in a cloud of a drug-induced cloud, you know, the opium dream. And that is what inspires this card. The person who is, quite frankly, out of their minds and possibly on drugs. It's interesting because cups can also be in your cups, right? So it's somebody who could have a drug or an alcohol problem, but also a senility where they have really lost their mind. They begin to see phantoms and ghosts and dreams. And that's the thing that really blows my mind about this reading. The Ace of Wands being the result, this person is going to war, and Six of Wands, I'm telling you, this guy is out. I said 5 months. I'd be surprised if it was 6 months. The fact that we get our wish, the fact that this person, he cannot escape this. Nine of Swords in his karma card. This guy's not sleeping. This guy is stressed out. Look at this. The fact that his 7th house shows him betrayed, and I'm telling you, his opposition is giving gifts. This guy's going to be sold out from under. He did foolish things that led to his collapse. So it's interesting because these are all psychopaths, and that's the takeaway. Ghislaine Maxwell is a psychopath. Trump is a psychopath. Epstein is a psychopath. Roger Stone is a psychopath. And so what is horrific and horrible to us, that they would engage in this kind of dealings together, is no big deal to them. I want to look at the Trump presidency overall and see if there's any more information that we can get about what's going on with Trump and his presidency. Nobody can save him because too many people have dirt on him, and he's made too many enemies. And so eventually he gets exposed. This guy can't survive this. I don't think so. But again, more than that, he's lost his mind. Angry wins the war. He's been cornered. Again, this is just looking terrible for Trump. The Knight of Swords is a bowl in a china shop. They are after him, and he has the Nine of Wands, a feeling of being cornered. I'm feeling that a lot of this has to do with what's going on in Ukraine. The fact that no matter what, Putin could not win the war in Ukraine. He really made an effort to get as much support as he could, or use whatever leverage he had on Trump. This is not does not bode well, because this is war, and this is a kind of desperation, helter-skelter you get with the Knight of Swords. And the Karma card, again, does not bode well for Trump. Nine of Wands, he's cornered. He has infuriated Putin. Look, both of these guys are going down. That's what I think. There's an attempt to end the war and emissaries of peace with the Knight of Cups. Both these guys are out. Death comes in the 4th house, a transition and hanging it up. I think that this is going to blow up so bad. I think that this is so disastrous. I think it's so irrefutable what is going to come out about Donald Trump, that the only thing the Senate can do, particularly if he's facing Article 25, because they no longer have confidence in his mental or physical health, before they issue Article 25, they'll give him the honor of resigning. It's bad. You don't need me to tell you. Anybody who has basic training in the look at this. Knight of Pentacles, the end, Hanged Man, and Death. Tell me, you guys, tell me you see something positive here for Donald Trump. I'm sorry. And this, ooh, Putin is mad. Yeah, I think this has to do with the war. He is in so much trouble. Eight of Swords. They are releasing everything. Every creepy thing he did, it's all coming out. Garrett is again his opposition, his own foolish behavior, hopes and fears the presidency. Final outcome: a time for sobriety for the nation. Yeah, well, what I would say to people is enjoy the ride. Enjoy the ride because this guy is there's no way to save Trump. The good news is that we're going to probably get peace in the Middle East. Somebody had asked if I'd look at Europe and what's going on in France because France has kind of been all over the place in terms of whether or not they will be able to have any relationship. They've always had a good relationship with Russia, and now who knows? But Macron has not done well. He's kind of been kind of a wishy-washy leader. But let's take a look at the future of France because they do have a problem with some of the stuff that's going on there. France. Ace of Wands. New entrepreneurship and new ideas and a focus on promoting new businesses and small businesses, particularly for new immigrants. So the solution for France is to encourage people that have come into the country who are new immigrants to start their own businesses and to generate more employment with the new population. Ace of Wands is entrepreneurship, new ideas. So the positive aspects of this is that they move towards trying to promote more small business and help small businesses in France. And Six of Swords, they have always survived France. It's a very old nation. They've seen the Romans come and go. They've seen the Germans come and go. They've seen the British come and go. This is a nation that will work itself out. And what I like about the future of France is that it's a co-creation of a new nation that promotes independence and entrepreneurship so that there's opportunities for more jobs. And I like the Six of Swords moving in for France because it means that many years of smooth waters lay ahead for France. There's fear and concerns about the economic situation in France, but we see a brand new beginning. Again, entrepreneurship, the building of new systems with a Four of Wands. Ace of Wands, of course, is entrepreneurship. It's that great yang energy coming in. And I like that Six of Swords. Clarification over here is funding, democratic socialism, where you start to give tax breaks to small businesses that are assisting people, for example, bookstores, any kind of independent small business that needs help will be assisted by the government, and that's the way that France saves itself economically. The opposition could be maybe bringing in immigrants, not checking people's security. There's still security risk, but helping people transition and adapt to life in France, helping small businesses is really the way that they help themselves. And that's also how they create a new economic opportunity for themselves. And you can see if they do that, there's great wealth over the future of France. People have asked if I would look at Canada really quickly, and so I'm happy to look at Canada too. But France is going to do fine as long as they continue to go into communities and say, how can we integrate this community and give them funding for small businesses, then they will find a way out of this. They've survived the Romans, right? They survived World War II. They will survive this. Don't underestimate just how powerful France is. its sense of self, its sense of pride, its ability to adapt. Canada. New contracts, new building, and new real estate will be the future that we will see. Building. Three of Pentacles is all about building. So more people coming in means more housing, more affordable housing. There's a real focus here on housing. New opportunities, new relationships, and new allies come in for Canada. New business opportunities as well. And the final outcome, again, is power to Canada. Canada is going to be fine. We're seeing that prices for real estate will probably begin to go down because they're coming up with new creative ways to build real estate. And there it is. Archangel Michael comes in, assisting over challenges, and partnerships become new and exciting with the Ten of Cups moving in. Great to see Archangel Michael, who's the protector over issues of real estate, homelessness, people that may find it difficult to find housing in places like Vancouver, and a great star over business, and nice magician energy. And King of Swords also is discipline and the sciences. So we can expect to see great new scientific innovation in Canada, as well as great new real estate opportunities and great new relationships with the Ten of Cups and the Two of Cups. Very auspicious in terms of trade and business for Canada. Magician, fantastic. It means power to the people. Canada has a great future. All right, finally, we'll take a look at Israel, Gaza. I'm very optimistic. I think that it's actually the Abraham Accords, the Abraham nations that will go in to stabilize Gaza. I think the Hamas will leave, and I think we will see a new oasis built in Gaza. But I don't think we will see a future for Hamas or Fatah or Islamic Jihad, because the movement here is towards moderation. I see strong female leadership. I think Netanyahu's time has come to an end. I think that he will leave abruptly. I think that, he's not well liked. And instead, we see new leadership coming in from the women. I see the opposition continues to be coming from maybe the military or the King of Swords. So there could be a little bit of friction there between the military and creativity. Also in terms of just the strength of who is going to rule. But ultimately, what you see heralding in Israel, the Middle East in general, is that we have the rising up of the women. Queen of Wands is a territorial queen. She seeks justice absolute, but she's also a wand. And what we know about the wands is that they take time and space. It's all about time and space. The opposition is the King of Swords, which is that military energy. But in the end, we have this strength card. I think that Gaza will be a beautiful part of the world. We also see funding for the rebuild of Gaza. And we also have a Three of Wands, meaning that we get our wish, in the sense that there'll be international investments and trade. I keep seeing women coming in as strong leadership, and the final outcome is Empress, which means that this area will be an area that's abundant. We'll probably start seeing a lot more in terms of agriculture as well. So it's quite auspicious, these cards, for Israel and Gaza. But the time of Netanyahu has come to an end, and instead this is a time that heralds powerful female imagery of creativity, birth, integration, and cooperation. And not so much the military. This again is more a movement towards trade, cooperation, integration, peace. And I truly believe that the Abraham Accords will come together to create oasis all over the world. And that's ultimately what brings peace to the Middle East. All right. Thank you, everyone, for your love and support again. And thank you for your support of the channel. If you're trying to get in for a reading with me, you can find all the information below this video. Okay. Be kind to all so that all will be kind to you too. God bless. Peace out. We'll see you next time. Thank you, everyone. Thank you.